Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGig webinar series, our endeavor to empower techies. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is getting started with Salesforce.com and Force.com. It is the second session in the cloud computing series that we have started conducting from December, and this would be continued till March. Our guest speaker today is Mr. Abhishek Chikane, Senior Team Lead at Cross Country Infotech Private Limited. Abhishek has around 6 years of experience in development and designing of object-oriented enterprise applications on Java, J2EE and Force.com platform. He has worked on Java, J2EE, Force.com projects, which include integration of data, systems, people, and third-party applications in complex transactional process scenarios. He has experience in analysis, design, and coding of custom-built object-oriented applications. Abhishek has also worked on many projects which have third-party application integration with Shiftwise, Salesforce.com CRM, Sugar CRM, AccuData, MRIS, Microsoft Health Vault, Yahoo Flickr, Google Picasa, and Maps. Abhishek is also a Salesforce.com certified Force.com developer. So without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Mr. Abhishek.
Thank you, Mohini. I would like to thank all of you for joining this webcast, and I hope this webinar will help you to know more about Salesforce and Force.com. And the purpose of this webinar is to introduce these two technologies or these two products, which are the cloud-based products to you. And I assume that you have no knowledge of Salesforce, Force.com, or this kind of cloud-based products. So before we start the actual presentation, this is my company's profile. I'm working with Cross Country Infotech for last more than 5 years, and we are the part of Cross Country Healthcare group of companies, and we deliver softwares on technologies like mobile, web, BI, ECM, and Informix 4GL. And these are the services we provide. Okay, so we'll start our webinar with some basic, just we'll refresh the basic concepts of cloud. And if you don't have the cloud definition at the top of your mind, it's okay. You know about cloud, that you are using Gmail, Yahoo, other services for years, right? And these are all actually the software as a services, because those applications are not installed or hosted on your machine, in your infrastructure, or in your premises, and you are using them. Somebody is supporting, somebody is maintaining, and you are just using, and many users are using the same application. So before this term was coined by someone, the cloud, this kind of architecture or these kind of models were there, and that is the software as a service. The second model of cloud service is a platform as a service. It includes all the runtimes like Java, .NET, Python, then operating systems, web servers, application servers, databases. And to run all these platform or softwares, we need some infrastructure like virtual machines, network, hard disk. So all these components will come under infrastructure as a service. So here, if you go from bottom to up, that infrastructure, if you have infrastructure as a service, you can have platform on the top of it, and then your app software will run as a service. And the basic difference between your normal or traditional way of application hosting and the cloud hosting is you will pay as you use it. So you don't have to purchase those servers, and then you don't have to buy the team of engineers to maintain all these infrastructure and all. That's it about the cloud service model. Why I'm giving this introduction to we'll go jump into Salesforce, and then we'll try to relate these three models with Salesforce. So here, Salesforce.com is a cloud-based solution provider, and it has these many products. Actually, Salesforce is best known for its CRM products. That is the Salesforce Cloud, Sales Cloud. And the first 5 products are actually the software as a service products. So these are the applications developed by Salesforce and offered as a service to the users. And you don't have to, you have to just subscribe and then use these applications. And based on your usage, you will pay, or based on the licensing type, you will pay for these products. And the last part is the Salesforce platform, and which is actually the platform as a service product. If you look at the 5 top products, all the products are actually running on the Salesforce platform, which is at the bottom, and that is the platform as a service. And Salesforce is providing the same product, that is platform as a service, to us, so that we can create our custom application on the same platform on which these 5 products are running. Now on the next slide you can see the various products from the Salesforce platform. There are 8 products. So out of these products, we are going to look at the first one, the force.com. We are going to look at the basic features of force.com and what is force.com and how to use it, why we are going to choose force.com, and all these details. So force.com is a cloud-based platform for developing business apps like your order tracking system, CRM, HR payroll applications, or anything you can develop using Java, .NET, PHP, Python. These kind of business applications can be developed on this force.com platform. You can try to relate it with some of the traditional application development, like there are some ERP applications like SAP, Oracle apps, where they have provided platform. You can configure, customize those products. But here in force.com, you will get some pre-built functionalities, as well as you can create your own or custom applications. And there is no limit to have the features of whatever required for your business app. So before looking into all the details of force.com platform, that is the components and how to build application, let's go over this slide. And this slide is actually talking about whether or which applications are suitable for using force.com platform. So on the horizontal axis, you can see content, data, process, and transactions. So in the content and data, you can think about content as a unstructured data, like files and other things. And for data, it's a structured data like tables, which has columns like spreadsheet and all. With process and transaction, in process, you can think in that particular application, you have some user interaction, where you have to involve the user or manual intervention to work with the application. And in transaction, it's sort of batch processing, running nightly processes. So these kind of areas are identified on the horizontal axis. And on the vertical axis, you can see the number of users going to be used these applications. So from bottom to up, the number of users are increasing. So the dark shaded green area shows the suite area or the applications which are most suitable for implementation using a Force.com platform, like HR, CRM, where the users are from within enterprise and you have structured data for it. And similarly for the other four squares, by addition of some content management system, websites, Salesforce nowadays has extended their services for the top row users, like on internet or portal, and it spreads across all the data types we have listed on the horizontal bar. So with this slide, it does not mean that you cannot create any payroll, financial, supply chain application using Salesforce. It's just a high-level idea while thinking whether to go for Force.com platform and whether my application is suitable for it. And why it is suitable, programmatic ability in the platform, so that you can extend that application to have other area application, to create other business applications outside this dark area. So let's move towards Force.com platform. Now, as in my introduction of my webinar, I explained you that I am going to compare Force.com platform with the traditional application development model. And to start that comparison, I need some brief introduction for the components provided by Force.com. So cloud infrastructure, you have platform so that you need some infrastructure also. So that infrastructure is already provided by Force.com. You don't have to think about it because it's coming inbuilt with your Force.com platform. And this slide shows all the components available as a development platform from Force.com. So you can take some time and just go through it. I'll explain some of the squares from this slide in the coming slides, because we are not going to touch each and every aspect of development platform of Force.com, but whatever is required for our comparison with traditional application development, I'll definitely touch all those areas. So from these squares, you can see that they have programming language, they have UI framework, and they have IDEs and development testing, source controlling and all. Along with that, they have some different development models which we are going to look at. And now we are going to start looking into details of the development model, how Force.com provides these development models. So they have two development models. That is, one is declarative and second is programmatic. In declarative model, it means configuring application using point and click, that you don't have to write any code to develop an application, and you can use browser for that. Programmatic, if you want to add more advanced features, you can use the programming language to develop an application, and you may need a Force.com ID for that. So in declarative model, there are advantage of maybe it's easy to use but less flexible. In programmatic model, you need some expertise, but it's very flexible. You can do whatever you want. Now, based on the declarative and programmatic model, I have divided the users the users in your organization as business users, administrators, business analysts, web developer, and professional developers. And the first three users, like business analyst, administrator, and business users, can use this declarative model. So as we have to use just point and click, you have to use browser, you don't have to program it, so you don't need much of the programming skills to personalize apps, to configure apps, or to customize apps. But if you want to develop the app, you can look at the right hand side that you need web developers, professional developers, where you can use the programmatic features of force.com to build applications. Maybe you can add more features or the advanced features to your custom app using the programmatic components of force.com. But for that, you have to use web developers or your professional developers. And for other features that configuring, customizing apps, you can have your you can have your other users which are not maybe power programmers, and they can use this declarative model. So I hope you are all clear with the development models of force.com and what is force.com. So basically this is a platform as a service provided by Salesforce to create your custom business applications. Now we'll look at the next part. How do we, what do we need to build a business application? So majority applications can be divided into three tiers, like user interface, business logic, and data model. If you want to divide it based on the design pattern, that model view controller, the same, we can divide them in the three layers. The first one is the user interface, and you know all these components from user interface side. In business logic, you need to have some processing logic based on your rules, workflows, other constraints, and set of business scenarios. And then on the data model side, you have to use, or you're going to store the structured data, so you need database for it. So let's start with the first component, that is the user interface. And force.com has, on the left hand side, you can see the declarative components of the view or user interface part, and those are applications, tabs, page layouts, record types, and text boxes, buttons, and all these things. If you want to have more control over your user interface, you want to add more custom UI to it, you can use the programmatic model, that is the force.com pages, sites, and they have Visualforce UI framework. It is similar to maybe in Java domain like JSP tags or struts tags. Let's move towards the second part, that is business logic. In business logic, Salesforce has workflows, validation rules, approval processes, and also security and sharing. That means you can secure your data based on the roles. You can restrict accesses to your records or data based on the hierarchy in your organization. So these kind of features are available as a part of declarative in business logic. And in programmatic side, you can have controllers like similar to servlets in Java or controllers, struts controllers. And Salesforce or force.com has its own language of called Apex. It's similar to .NET programming or Java programming. And they have webservices, APIs, and triggers also. So you can, from the names, you can directly correlate with the traditional components available. There is nothing to explain more about it. These are the same things we have in traditional development or traditional platforms. And at the last, data model, which has the declarative one as the objects, fields, and relationships, where here you can relate objects to your tables from relational databases and fields to your columns. And if you want more control over your data model, you can anytime use the web services API, or they have one more API called metadata API. By using it, you can programmatically deal with your data model. So these are the components provided by force.com from these three tiers, that user interface, business logic, and data model. And these are the features available. Now we'll create one demo app based on all the features we have discussed, and we'll know more about these features depending on the use. So before I log in, if you want to try out these Salesforce features, you can create your free developer edition account, where you will get all the available features, whatever we have discussed, and whatever is available in a production mode. Just one constraint is there. There are some constraints over number of users you can create and number of types of licenses you can assign to these users. So this is the free developer edition account, and this is typical Salesforce home page. And before we start the actual application development, let me explain you some of the features of this application. Here you can see the Salesforce.com logo, and if you are building your own application, you can change this logo to whatever you want. This is global search. You can search anything out of your organization. And these are the tabs. You can link these tabs to your functionalities or your objects, or your, as we compared it with our table. So you can have these tabs, and you can customize these tabs by adding more tabs or removing tabs based on the accesses. Now we talked about creating application. So here you can see the application listed. So whenever you purchase Salesforce account or in developer edition also, you'll get some pre-built applications, and these applications are developed on the same platform. And now whenever you create your own application, you can see that application in this drop-down list. So we'll start our first application. Okay, before we start, let me explain the use case for this application. So we are going to build a warehouse application, the inventory kind of application. And this is our data model. You can think about we are going to have three tables, and in Salesforce or Force.com terminology, we'll have three objects. First is merchandise, second object is invoice statement, and third object is line item. So in the first object, you are going to store your products. The invoice object will store the invoices, and then line item will have all the details of that invoice. And how our application will look like. Here you can see our application name in the drop-down list. Here you can see your first object. Here you can see the invoice statement object. And these are the three screenshots of each of the objects. That is the first merchandise, then invoice statement, and then line items. And we are going to create this within next 15 minutes. So this is what you, and I'm not going to write any program here. I'm going to use the declarative model to build the small warehouse application. As we go ahead, we can add more features by using workflows and triggers. But for this demo, I'm going to create these three objects: the relationships, the fields, that is the column, and one validation rule. So I'll name this as warehouse and let's see what's going to happen for this. So it is showing the preview that your warehouse will go on the top, the tab will come here as your first object. I'm now going to create an object. Let's say create, and let's go to our app. So you can see your app is ready. The warehouse app, you have got the first object, which is the merchandise object. Now let's add some fields to it. So this is the screen where you can see your first object, and here you are going to create the custom field for it. Let's add first field as our data type text area. Here you have different data types: the auto number, formula, checkboxes, currency, date, date time, number, percentage, pick list, URL. So for the description, we are going to have, you can add description and health test, which will be shown on the user interface. You can mark it as a required or not required. And just go ahead and save it. We'll add one more field to it, which is of type currency, and which is called as a price of that product. As we have selected as a currency, it's a number, so we are deciding the decimal places as well. And we'll also make it required. And we'll create the last one as a total inventory and as a number. So you can see your three fields as a description, as a text area type, price as a currency, and total inventory as a number. And now look at this. Here is the new button by using which we can create the first inventory object. Let's see, price as a, and total inventory maybe as a 2000. And now your first entry is done. So you can see the name, the description, the price, total inventory. So you are done with the first object. Let's create two more objects. And to create these objects, you have to go to setup, then objects, and now new object. Let's create the invoice object. So to give the plural label, which will come here. Here the record number or the primary key, you can think about it. It can be auto number. You can decide the display format of that auto number and from which it starts. There are analytics available at dashboards and reports. So if you want to create reports based on this object, you have to just check it. This object will be available for reporting. And just say, so you have created invoice object. Let's add just one field to it. And we'll this time we'll add a pick list. As the invoice status, here's the pick list values. You can specify whether you want to sort them, whether you want to use the first value as a default value. We'll make that the read only. Let's see. And save it. So you have got this status. Let's create a tab like this for our invoice line item. So select your object we have just created. What type of style you want to apply to this tab. And you can see the invoice tab here. Okay. We are going to create one more object so that we can demonstrate the features of relationship and all. Let's add one more field to it and this one description so that we can put some description for invoice also. That's it. Let's create one more object called line item. So from the data model, we have that merchandise, that is the product object, and we'll have these two more objects, that invoice and line item of that invoice. For line item, we are going to keep this as a line item number, but still we'll keep it as a text. We'll allow report and then say your third object is created. Let's add some fields to it. Now you have product, you need some pricing for it. So for this line item, we'll add one currency type field, which is the unit price. The 2 decimals or okay. And let's go to the next. The unit price should come from the actual product, so we are making it as a read only. We'll add one more field. Unit sold. And just select whatever is there. So we are almost done with the objects creation, and let's now add the relationship. So from this you can see you have this line item is related with your invoice and your product. So how to link it? You can think about your foreign key relationship. So here on the line item, you have to relate this line item with first the product or the merchandise object. So there are two types of relationship. I'm not going to discuss in detail. We are going to create the master detail one. And here we'll link the first object, that merchandise object, with it. Let's have the default selected as is. Go to the next. And save it. We'll create one more relationship with the line item, invoice statement. Yes. We are done. So now we have entered our first product. We have created all the three objects. You can list down those objects from, you can see them here. The first one, then the invoice statement one, and then line item one. You can see the relationships here. All are deployed. Now let's look at we'll create first invoice, and we can see as a first invoice and make it. Now you can see the invoice number is coming, your first invoice store. And you can see line items here. So let's create one line item. And you have to select or relate the product. So you can see how all the lists you are added in the product or merchandise tab. So the first product we added, we'll save it. So you have created successfully 3 objects, and you have created one invoice and linked it with 2 others. Now I'm going to demonstrate 2 more fields to show the formula fields, how you can add to it, and then validation rule. So let's go to the line item, and we'll add one formula. So here on line item, you can see the unit price and the unit sold, right? And what is the total price or value of this line item? It should be $40, 10 into 40. So let's create one formula. Maybe value, and type should be currency, 2 decimal places. And here you can see how to build a formula. This is a formula editor. So you have unit price. Here are the operators multiplied by unit sold. You can check the syntax, then go to next, next, and now if I just refresh this page, you can see the value field here, the 40 is coming. And if you change the values, the unit price to 100, it should come up with 400. And you can see the lock symbol so that you can edit it. You can edit other values. Okay, and let's add the last one, that validation rule, and we'll move ahead for the question and answer session. So here on the same, we are going to add a validation rule. Called as order in stock. Here also you can select, you have to select the merchandise, and then there your available total inventory, and then for validation rule you have to specify your total inventory if your total inventory is less than the unit sold, then you can specify message that you have ordered and where you want to show this message, at which level. It should be at the field level where you are entering the unit sold. Save it. And let's try out this thing. You know the inventory value, that 2000, we have total inventory. Let's edit it, and unit sold will make it as a 3000. Yes. And you can see you have ordered more items than we have in stock. But if I make it 1500, it should work. It's shown. Okay. So here is your quick demo application, the inventory application where you have products in the invoices, and you may be guessing that how the price here is editable and how the line item is getting. So if you use the workflows and update your field of line item based on the price here, so you don't have to enter that price in the line item field. So these are some additional features we can try out without writing program and using this declarative programming model. So that's it from this demo and as well as my presentation. So I'll request the moderator to open up this session for question and answer.
Well, thanks for the insightful presentation, Abhishek. Let's quickly take up the questions now. I have started assigning you some questions. Are you able to see them in your questions pane?
Okay. Yes, I can see. Okay, so first question is, what is Visualforce? Visualforce is a UI framework from the force.com platform, and you can relate it with a struts framework where you have some tags to create your user interface controls like text boxes, text areas, list of values, and it has controllers which are actually similar to your struts controllers. This is all, they call it as a UI framework, and they named it as a Visualforce, which is related to your visual tier or visual or view pattern or view component of your application. Second question is, what kind of academic projects we can build based on cloud computing? Yeah, I have shown the slide of the suite area where you which type of application can be developed based on force.com, like CRM application, order tracking, leave management system. So you can take up those kind of applications. What is the difference between force.com and sales.com? Salesforce.com. Salesforce.com is the company which is providing these solutions, and one of them is force.com, and force.com is a platform as a service product of Salesforce.com. Next question is, we call this demo app as a PaaS? Yes, you have built this your custom app, that warehouse app, on platform as a service, that is force.com. Next question is, can more than one developer collaborate on the same app working simultaneously? Yes. As in one of the slide, I have shown that they have this development environment ID, and they have version controlling inbuilt, provided you don't have to purchase it. So multiple developers can work on it. They have deployment models, different deployment model, that you can work on the sandbox, or you can call it as a test environment, and you can deploy the changes on production. So multiple people can work. You can see the versions created out of it. Next question is, how do we write programming Salesforce.com? Please suggest some referential material. Okay, you can visit the Salesforce.com to reach that developerforce.com. You need to click some more links, but you can try out with the developerforce.com. searching on Google. You'll land on the developerforce page, where you can find all the workbooks available and you can study them, or you can search for Dev 401 certification material. You'll get all these details. Can you please suggest how to develop a social networking site on Salesforce.com or any other such platform? Salesforce.com has one different feature which they actually propose in last Dreamforce, their conference, which is social enterprise, where you can integrate other social networking sites like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter with your CRM application. So if you want to use these existing social networking websites along with your own customized CRM, you can go ahead and use those social plugins provided by Salesforce, or you can create your own custom application, as I have shown you the warehouse application. So you can have your own Facebook-like application. And they have the sites feature where you can create a public site using this same Visualforce and then post.com language. So it's all open for developing this kind of application. If I customize any workflow of one of the Salesforce apps, will it be preserved by next upgrade by Salesforce? Yes. So Salesforce has their releases. I think they are quarterly releasing that winter, spring, summer kind of releases. So every time before the next release, they'll release all these features on the sandbox or the test environment. So for the whole quarter, you can test them on your sandbox. And in the next quarter, they will automatically upgrade it to the newer version. You don't have to pay for it. They'll keep upgrading and adding features. And if you have customized anything, it won't break. It will work as it is after the upgrade. Whether services of Salesforce free or what? No, Salesforce is the paid product. They charge based on their subscription or the licenses type. So you can check for the different license types, and based on the licenses, you will get those kind of features as specified by them. Plus, there are some governing rules. As this is a cloud platform, you cannot use or you cannot create applications, resource-intensive applications on this platform. So they have also put some constraint based on your subscription type. The next question is this model used in online shopping sites? Yes, this can be used. What are the constraints related to developing an application and using it independently of Salesforce? Constraint, I think there are constraints like if you cannot use resource-intensive queries or resource-intensive expensive code logic, because others are all using same instance of application. So they have put some governance rules here which restrict you, but you have to then optimize your code accordingly or customize your code accordingly to get what you want to do. So these are the constraints I think as per my experience are there while developing an application. Next question is, how can one become a member of Salesforce.com to create an application? You can purchase the free developer edition. And what is mean by granularity in the context of development platform as indicated in one of your forms? The granularity is the granularity of the security. You can set up security of your records based on the roles or the access permissions, and there are different levels. So the security model has its own level where you can specify the accesses, and then read, write, delete activities allowed for the users, and you can do it very at a granular level. So that's what it means in that previous slide. We have 3, 4 more. I'll just quickly cover those. From the slide, force.com components as MVC, question, how is the workflow on cloud platform tested? Is there any additional support is required? Yes. Hello.
Okay. I can continue with the questions.
Okay, fine. Sorry, got disconnected. We were at the force.com components as MVC. Question, how is the workflow on cloud platform tested? Force.com or Salesforce has provided a nice feature of testing your application, and it will not allow you to deploy that application on production until and unless there is test coverage specified there. So you have to add the test, unit test, or test methods inside your code to get it tested. And if you test it and then the coverage is above the specified percentage, then only you can deploy it. So this is the way you can test your application on this platform. And they have added some out-of-box feature, like you can test the feature using dummy data. It will create the dummy data for your based on your feature, and you don't have to touch the existing data. So this is the one more feature I can just remember. Next question is, what type of object modeling is supported on force.com for developing a small application, say statistical regression model? Is it possible through salesforce.com? Are any books available on learning how to create such applications, or it costs to create? About the cost, it's what is required to get that subscription of Salesforce. Secondly, in terms of manpower, time and money, I have created this small application in 10 or 15-20 minutes. Until and unless you are using the declarative model, and if you are aware of the ecosystem of Salesforce, you can go and create it very quickly. You don't need any specific programming skills for that. But if you are going for the programming model using Apex language or Visualforce, it may take some time because it's a new. But if you have some programming language background like .NET, Java, Python, Ruby, you can easily understand that language. So For the programming model, I would say we have to calculate the time and effort based on the expertise you have. But for declarative model, if you learn it, your non-programmers can also create such kind of small application. What is the scope of Salesforce in mobile domain? Salesforce has one of the products called as the Salesforce Mobile, where you can create mobile applications for any device without using any native programming languages. And this is done by using the same programming model like declarative one. If I get chance, I'll present one session on this also, using Salesforce Mobile and this declarative model, how to create applications for smartphones using this. How can relate Google Apps and Salesforce.com? Salesforce.com has many integration capabilities, and one of them is Google Apps. So you can integrate your Google Apps with Salesforce.com. Similarly, along with Google Apps, they have this web services API so that you can integrate any app with Salesforce.com. So if you have your legacy application, you can connect it to Salesforce using that web service API, or you can create your SAP ERP, Oracle Apps ERP system, PeopleSoft system to Salesforce using those web services connectors. Is Apex language a server logic or UI interface? Apex language is a server logic, and for UI interface you have to use Visualforce, and which is the UI framework similar to Java JSP tags or struts tags. So I hope okay, there are some more questions. Hi, I am working on .NET project from 2 years, web app and system app. I want to migrate my career path to Salesforce. What can I do? You can start maybe, I'm not right person to tell you how to migrate your career or change your career, but you can go for the Salesforce certification, that Dev 401. And it's not that much difficult to understand it for any programmer or non-programmer also. How can you compare the career in WCF, WPF and Cloud Salesforce? I think WCF and WPF are also moving, that Microsoft is intensively working on Azure products. But Salesforce is a different kind of cloud service, they have this platform as a service. Microsoft provides supports all the platforms as per my knowledge, that .NET, PHP, Java, anything. So that is kind of only platform as a service, but they are not providing this kind of services like Force.com. But it doesn't mean that they are not providing the second model, the platform as a service. They have this .NET framework or .NET platform available as a cloud service. So as per you asked about career, maybe I'm not right person to talk about it. Can we import Java class in Apex class? There is no as such migration or any tool available, but I have worked on Apex code and also Java code. It's pretty easy to understand Apex code for a Java programmer or .NET programmer, because all the syntaxes and everything are almost same. So I don't know whether you require to import that Java code into it. How scalable is Force.com, meaning using declarative method of development? How many users can work on an app at a time? Is there any limitation? No, as per your subscription, you can have whatever users allowed by your subscription. What is Chatter in Salesforce.com? Chatter is one of the product, and the same product which is what we talked about, the social enterprise. So they have created this product similar to, you can imagine a wall on Facebook, how you post your updates on a wall on timeline or in Google Plus also. So similar to that, they have integrated this kind of features in your application or your enterprise application. And just one example, like suppose you have created one group for your one project going on. You have 3 members, 1 manager, and you want to collaborate in real time, you want to post updates, so traditionally we use SharePoint sites or any other project management lifecycle tools. So here you can create a group, chatter group, and here you can keep on posting the details, and this way you can use the chatter. So this is one example I know about chatter, small example. Can we perform integration by using Salesforce? Yes, I just in one of the question I explained about how we can integrate Salesforce with other systems. How is Salesforce different from Windows, Azure, and Amazon AWS? Windows, Azure, and Amazon both provide infrastructure as a service and platform as a service, because both of them support Java. Azure supports .NET and other languages. Amazon also supports other languages. In addition to that, how we differentiate Salesforce or Post.com? Post programming model or programming language. So these are the extra services they are providing as a part of their platform as a service. So that's where they are different. What is Remedy-Force? Remedy-Force is a one more product of Salesforce. Actually, Remedy is a product of BMC, and they are offering through Salesforce this product as a service. So that is what they call the Remedy-Force. How to debug the code in Post.com? Whenever you write code in a setup, wherever we have created that objects and all, there you have debugging or monitoring. You have to just go there and enable the logging. You will get all the logs printed out there. So you can debug that application over there. There's one more question. Is this Salesforce.com being developed by using SharePoint? No, both are two different technologies. I think that is the last question. I hope I answered all the questions.
Well, those were the only questions we had, Abhishek. Thank you so much for answering them. I'm really thankful to you for conducting this webinar. It was indeed a great session. I would also like to thank all our participants for the support in making this webinar a success. The recording of the session would be available on techgeek.com by evening. Thank you all. Have a great day.